Let's give ourselves a little bit more practice adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. So let's say that we have the statement 4 is equal to negative 8 minus blank. Like always, I encourage you to pause the video and see if you can figure out what blank would be to make this statement true, that negative 8 minus blank is going to be equivalent to 4, that 4 is equal to negative 8 minus blank. So now let's work through it together. And to help us, I will get a number line. So there's a number line right over there. And one way to think about it is, I want to start at negative 8. So this is negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8. I want to start at negative 8. And I want to do something to negative 8 to end up at 4. To end up at 4. So 4 is positive 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 right over there. So what do I need to do to get from negative 8 to positive 4? Well, let's see. I have to move to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have to move to the right 12 spaces. Or another way to think about it, to get from negative 8 to positive 4, I have to, actually let me make sure I have some space up here. I have to add 12. Another way to think about it, to get from negative 8 to 0, you have to add 8. And then to get from 0 to 4, you have to add another 4. So you have to add 8 plus 4, or 12. But how do you do that? Because they're saying negative 8 minus something should be equal to 4. Well, whatever you have over here, you want this to end up being equivalent to plus 12. So what can you do there? Well, you could subtract a negative. If you subtracted negative 12, this would be equivalent to adding 12. So notice, let me rewrite it. 4 is equal to, let me just write it without my boxes there, is equal to negative 8 minus negative 12. Well, what happens when you subtract a negative? Well, that ends up being adding the positive. So this is going to be the same thing as negative 8 plus positive 12, or 4 is equal to negative 8 plus 12, which we know is true. You add 8, you get to 0. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0, and then you add another 4, you get to positive 4. So that one was pretty interesting. Let's do another one. We can't get enough practice. This is too much fun. All right. So let's say we had something blank minus negative 2 is equal to negative 7. How do we think about this? Well, the first thing my brain wants to do is to simplify subtracting a negative. So if you subtract negative 2, that's the same thing as adding positive 2. So this is an equivalent statement to saying subtracting a negative 2 is the same thing as adding a positive 2. Something plus 2 is equal to negative 7. And now we can get the number line out to think about it. So get my number line out. So my goal is I want to get to negative 7. So it's negative 5, negative 6, negative 7 right there. And I want to add 2 to something to get to negative 7. So if I'm adding 2, that means I'm jumping 2 to the right. That's what adding 2 looks like. So what number do I need to start at that if I jump 2 to the right, if I add 2, I end up at negative 7? Well, I would have to start 2 to the left of negative 7. If I start 2 to the left, 1, 2, if I start at, let me do this in a different color. If I start at this number right here, and if I add 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2, I end up at negative 7. Well, what number is this? This number that is 2 to the left of negative 7. Well, that's negative 9. So this right over here is negative 9. Negative 9 plus 2. So if you start at negative 9 and you move 2 to the right, you end up at negative 7. Or you could say negative 9 minus negative 2. Because if you subtract negative 2, you're going to move to the right. If you subtract positive 2, you move to the left. But then if you subtract negative 2, you move 2 to the right, to negative 7. Another fascinating one. Let's do one more of these. I'm having maybe a little bit too much fun. All right. So let's say we have negative 4 is equal to blank minus 9. So let's get the number line out. And always pause the video, see if you can try it on your own. but let's get my number line out. And so let's think about it. Our goal, we want to take some number, subtract 9 from it, and get -4. So we want to get -4. And then there's some number that if we take 9 away from it, so if you take 9 away from something, that's moving 9 to the left. So another way to think about subtracting 9, let me do this in a different color. Subtracting 9, that's literally moving 9 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's some number that we start with. We're going to subtract 9, and then we end up with -4. We're going to end up with -4. Some number, that's the blank right over here. You subtract 9, you move 9 to the left. That's going to be equivalent to -4. So another way to think about it is this number is going to be 9 to the right of -4. So let's think about what that number is going to be. So this number is going to be 9 to the right of -4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like +5. So let's see if we're right about that. If we start at +5 and we subtract 9, so let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, you subtract 9, you're going to end up at -4. So -4 is equal to 5 minus 9.